Hi friends, my name is Gajanan sir, and today I am going to teach you the chapter number 1 of history subject, that is historiography, development in the West. First of all, we have to discuss about the historiography. Historiography, it is a skill regarding to research and writing skill of history, that is called historiography. Development in the West. You should be well known that in the comparison of Eastern countries, the Western countries were developed very soon, and that's why they were able to know about the writing skill and their development. So, in this chapter, we have to discuss how the development of writing of history subject had been developed in the Western countries. Here, what is history? Can you tell me the answer? Yeah, history is an account of important past event because all the events which had happened in the past cannot become the part of history, but which events or incidents can be effective on the people of maximum people at that time, those incidents can be included into the term history. Now, next question is, who is a historian? First of all, you have to write these notes. See, what is historiography? The study of the writing of history and of written histories. The study of the writing of history, that is also sufficient. Okay, the study of the writing of history, that is called historiography. Next question is, who is a historian? Historian is a person who studies and writes about the past and regarded as an authority on it. Understood the meaning? Historian is a person who studies and writes about the past and regarded as an authority on it. Means whatever information he will write on that written material, he will have his own authority. That is a historian. Then what is an archaeology? Archaeology is a subject who studies human activity through the recovery and analysis of material culture. Dear children, you know very well our ancestors were enjoying their life in much more parts of the world. Due to various natural calamities, they had lost their lives, and when the excavation work were done by various countries, later we came to know that in ancient age there were also so many civilization had developed. If we think about India, in India the Indus Valley civilization had developed, and if we want to gain the information about that civilization, we have to depend on the work of archaeologists, because the archaeologists will study the remains which are available at that places. Then, who is an archaeologist? He is an expert in archaeology. He is an expert in archaeology. Let's see what are the objective of writing history, because each and every person wants to write something about themselves. Then what are the objectives of writing history? Number 1, to put the past events in the chronological order and analyze. Number 1, to put the past events in the chronological order and analyze. Number 2, verifying the authenticity of the collected documents. Means whatever documents I have to see the authenticity of the collected document. Then ascertain the truth. Once I collect documents, after that I must be well known about the truth. The documents which I have collected, are they real or not? Okay, I must know about that, and these are the three objectives of writing. Next question is, explain the need of an expert to verify the authenticity of historical documents. Because when we have to write the history of the specific topic, at that time the historian has to verify the authenticity of the historical documents, because duplicate documents are also available, were also available in the market, and that's why verifying the authenticity, that is the most talented work of the historian. See, what is the reason? Point number one, an expert who knows the language and script of a historical document to read and understand its meaning. Means a person who is having knowledge of a script. For example, Hindi. Hindi is written in Devanagari script. Okay, English is written in Latin script. It indicates that a person who is having the knowledge of the script and the language, that person can do this work in a good manner. If I don't know about Urdu language and the task is given to me to study the literature of Urdu language, is it possible to me? Yeah, no doubt it will be possible, but it will take so much time. To first of all I have to learn Urdu language, and after that I have to study. It will take much more time, and that's why obviously that's why obviously I will say sorry, I am not interested in Urdu language. Okay, number 2, one who can identify, examine the authenticity, the age in which the writing and lettering style was prevalent. Once the historian will come to know that this is an authentic written material, after that he has to think about the writing skill and the lettering style, because according to time the writing skill and the lettering style had also changed. If you will see 100 years back bond paper of your forefathers' wealth, you will come to know that the writing skill was completely separate from today. Point number third, one who can identify the type of paper used, manufacturing date, and the age in which it was used. Means the person must have ability to know the type of paper, then manufacturing date, and the age in which it was used. Means with the help of the C14, that is carbon 14 dating scale, the historian can understand that in which year it was prepared, it was made. Next question, having knowledge of stamps, because you know what is stamps. Various types of stamps are available here and there, and when we speak about stamps, stamps tell us about the specific era, and on these stamps the photos are given of those people who do something better for the welfare of human being. Those great people's pictures are put on that stamps. Then experts who can verify various historical references. At the time of writing history, the historian must be well known about the historical references. Now the next question is, explain the historical research method and stages of historiography. Then which are the historical research method? Now there are 4 points. Point number 1, relevant historical information and its comparative analysis. Means once the historical documents are collected, after that the historian should do the comparison, and he should do the analysis of those all collected documents. Then it is the duty of the historian to understand the references of time and space, and also various conceptual framework. Means according to need he has to understand the references, because according to time and space various types of concepts can be also changed. Then point number 3 is critical examination of various historical sources. Whatever historical resources he will collect, of that all historical documents he should be able to do the critical examinations. Means he has to ask a question that the information which I have collected, is that correct or not. Then to formulate hypothesis. Means To formulate hypothesis means we have to think about the assumption, the information which I have collected, it may be true or it may not be true, and in such way this is the historical research method which has to be followed by the historian. Which disciplines or subjects contribute in the historical research, means which subjects are very much helpful to history subject in the process of historical research. Number one is archaeology. You know about this archaeology subject whose definition you have already written. Number two is archival science. Number three is manuscriptology. What is this manuscriptology? In the ancient age, so many manuscripts were written by the kings, and on those manuscripts, he had written some important information about their era. Okay, that is called manuscriptology. Then, epigraphy, study of inscriptions. Then, linguistics, a person who is having a knowledge of various languages, that is a linguistics. Then, lettering style, analyzing branch. Lettering style means according to time the lettering style had had be changed, and that's why the historian must have the knowledge of lettering style. Then numismatics, that is study of coins. In history the role of coins is very much important, because whatever rulers had come on the throne, they were having the ambition to print or to make the coins of their own, and that's why when we study about the coins we can understand the economic condition of that state. If the ruler has minted maximum coins of gold, we can say that that was a very rich king, because in those days gold and silvers were having lot of importance. Then genealogy, study of lineage. What is this lineage? Lineage means race, clan. In India, Dravid people, okay, means Dravidian people, it is a clan of people. Aryan people, it is a clan of people. In such way, then Negroid people, it is also a clan of people. These all names of a human being is called the genealogy. Okay, you must be well known about these subjects which are helpful for in the study of historical research of history. Next question is, what is historical writing? Historical sources are critically examined and the past events are preserved in writing. You have to check the spelling of examined. Historical sources are critically examined and the past events are preserved in writing. Number two, the writing of critical historical narrative is known as historiography. It is related to historical writing. Number three, a scholar who writes such narrative is a historian. In such way, for writing history, historian and historiography are very important. Let's go on the next question. Explain the importance of historian to find out the authenticity of the historical writing. This is the most important question of this chapter, because the role of historian is very much important to know the authenticity of the historical writing. Then who is an historian? Historian is not in a position to include all events in his narrative, because historian cannot include all the information which he will see. Number 2, so he decides the events which he thinks should reach the people, means he will think that which incidents or events were important for the in the life of common people, those incidents can be given more and more importance. His perspective on those events depends on the conceptual framework he adopts. Means, if the historian will think about a specific concept of history, according to that, he will have his own perception to collect and write the information of that specific subject. Suppose I have to concentrate myself on the work of Bajirao first. Recently, you have seen the movie Bajirao Mastani. So, I have to concentrate on the work of Bajirao first. I will not write the detailed information about Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj or Jijamata. Okay. Fourth point, through historiography was not prevalent in the ancient societies, people living in those times to felt that they should pass on the stories about the life and valor of the ancestors to the next generation. In the ancient time, the writing skill of history was not given lot of importance because the kings were not thinking about that. But when they came to know that whatever fights, whatever battles we are doing with other people, whatever struggle we are doing for survival, that should be known to the next generation people, and that's why the tradition of writing history had developed in all the parts of the world, but it had developed first of all in Europe. Next, so these ancient communities used various means like cave paintings, storytelling, songs, ballads for this purpose. Means when our ancestors came to know about the importance of writing history to tell to the next generation, at that time they had started their work such as cave paintings, then storytellings, songs, ballads. Okay, if you will think about the oldest book in the world, then we can say that Rigveda was the oldest book in all over the world. But was it written at that time? No, it was not written. It was simply give on to the next generation by the recitation. One generation people were reciting the Rig Veda and it was carried forward to the next generation, and in such way the recitation process was given lot of importance. Point number 6, in modern historiography these means are looked upon as sources of history. Means whatever cave paintings were done, whatever stories were told by our ancestors, the songs which they had sung, the ballads. What is this ballad? Ballad is a form of poem in which the information about the valor is given. Means telling the story of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj and his battles, that is a part of ballad. In Marathi that is called povada. Okay, in such way the role of historian is very much important to find out the authenticity of the historical writing. Now let's think about the next question, what are the characteristics of modern historiography? This is also very important question which can be asked for 3 marks. Characteristics of modern historiography, ancient historiography and modern historiography. In modern historiography so many changes have taken place, and into that the point number 1 is, in the method of modern historiography begins with the information of relevant questions which are asked in logical order. Hence it is a keen to scientific method. Means in a modern historiography the first and simple method is to make a questionnaire about the specific topic, and the historian will try to collect the answer of those questions with the help of various evidences, and that's why whatever answers he will be collecting, those will be in a logical order, because the questions will be in logical order, and that's why the answers will be in logical order, and we can say that that is a scientific method. Point number 2, These questions are anthropocentric. It means they center around man and his activities in ancient societies. History does not advocate any interrelation between divine and human actions. Many times there is a question in our mind that is there the existence of God and goddesses or divine? History is not having the answer of that question. It is the duty of the historian to collect the information about the lives of human being, not of the god and goddesses. And that's why whatever questions are asked by the historian, those are related to anthropocentric. Okay. Point number 3 is answer to these questions have reliable evidences and are presented in logical order. Whatever answers will be collected by the historian, those will be put in a logical order, and those will be verified with the reliable evidences. You know, evidences means proof. Point number 4, history presents a graph of man's journey with, with the help of his past deeds and actions. Means whatever developments have been done by the human being, that is the fruit of the hard work of our ancestor. And that's why history presents a graph of man's journey. If you will go back in the ancient era, when our ancestors were surviving inside the forest, they were collecting the fruits and roots for their survival. They had made the weapons with the help of stones, and they were killing the animals and eating their raw flesh. But when they came to know about the fire, after that they had developed their eating style, and in such way we can say that history presents a journey of man's development. Okay, let's go on the next question. How did the development of scientific perspective in Europe and historiography? Means how did the scientific perspective had developed in Europe about historiography? Point number 1 is Europe had achieved remarkable progress till 18th century in the fields of philosophy and science. Okay. Number 2, scholars belonging to one school of thought presented the idea of applying this knowledge of scientific method to study social and historical truths. It means the scholars of Europe had started to discuss social issues with the other universities professors and scholars, and that's why when there were some controversy about a specific topic, at that time this at that time they had started to discuss about the authenticity, and they had examined the evidences in a critical manner, and in the last they came to know about the historical truths with the help of the scientific method. It means the European scholar had used the scientific method for writing the history. Then the discussions were focused on objectivity in history and historiography. Point number 4, history gained importance over philosophical discourses and divine phenomena. Means when the scholars of Europe had started to discuss about the philosophical ideas and the divine phenomena. Divine means here God, and phenomena means moments. When they were discussing about the existence of God, at that time they started to discuss about philosophy. Next point, in 1737 CE, CE stands for Common Era, the Göttingen University was founded in Germany, which had an independent department of history. It means Göttingen University was the first university in the world who had established the Department of History to study the history, and the year was 1737. Later on, the German universities became centers of historical studies. Means we can say that first of all, the scientific study of history had started in Germany, and Germany's Göttingen University. This is a important point. You have to learn these all the points. Let's let us go on the notable scholars. Notable means very important scholars. First of all, we have to discuss about the work of Rene Descartes. In this chapter we have to discuss about 7 to 8 European historians who had given great contribution in the writing skill of historiography. So let's start the discussion about Rene Descartes. Would you like to see the photo of Rene Descartes? You can see this is the photo of Rene Descartes. Rene Descartes was the foremost among the scholars who insisted on verifying the reliability of historical documents by critically examining them. Have you understood? Rene Descartes was the first person or first scholar who had insisted to other scholars for verifying the reliability of historical documents by critically examining. This was the most important work of Rene Descartes. He is also known as the father of modern Western philosophy. This is a very important point. Rene Descartes is known as the father of modern Western philosophy. In his book Discourse on the Method, he is supposed to have a great impact on the scientific method of research. Means the book which was written by Rene Descartes, its name was Discourse on the Method. In this book, he had given lot of importance on the scientific method of research. Point number 4. He explained not to accept anything as a source of history till there is any scope for doubt. Means wherever the doubts are asking, wherever the doubts are not solved up to that time, the source, the information cannot be accepted as the source to write the history. And in such way, the contribution of Rene Descartes is very important. Rene Descartes was a French philosopher. Okay, let's move on the next screen. Voltaire. His duration was 1694 to 1778. He was a French philosopher and thinker. His original name was Francois Marie Arouet. Number 2. His significant contribution was in laying the foundation of modern historiography. It means Voltaire played very much important role in the contribution of laying the foundation of modern historiography. He increased the scope of history, and he told that history should not be considered limited to portrayal of kings, battles, but should include trade, economy, social traditions, agriculture, etc. See, the contribution of Voltaire is very much important because he had increased the scope of history. Before this, what was happening? Before this, mostly the information was collected about the life of kings and the royal families, there were no any scope to the life of common people. But Voltaire was the person who told that more than the king and his battles and his royal family, the information in history should be included about the trade, economy, social tradition, and agriculture, etc. Voltaire had written many articles criticizing priests, falsehood, and cruel rulers. The work of Voltaire was very much important in the history of French. When the French Revolution had taken place, at that time also, the work of this person played very much important role. He fought for human rights and progress. He wrote 50 plays on history and philosophy. His thoughts inspired the French Revolution, which I have already told you. In such way, the role of Voltaire was very much important in the development of historical writing. Okay, you have to learn the information about Voltaire. Now, the next slide is George Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel. You have to see the spelling minutely. George Hegel was a German philosopher. He was the view that the historical realities should be presented in a logical manner. You know the meaning of logical manner? Means the thing which had happened first, it should be written first of all. Then the thing which had happened second, it should be written on second number. It means with the help of logical writing, we can easily understand the history of any country. If there will be jumbling, then it will be difficult to understand the history in a proper manner. He believed that presentation of history is bound to change as time passes because new evidence surfaces. Hegel presented the thesis of dialectics to understand the meaning of past events. See, Hegel had given the importance to the dialect. What is meant by dialect? The pronunciation, the action of speaking, that is dialects. Hegel presented the thesis of dialects to understand the meaning of past events. Next point. His lectures and articles are published in a book called Encyclopedia of Philosophical Sciences. And his book Reason in History is well known by the other scholars in the world. In such way, the work of George Wilhelm is over. Let's go on next slide. Leopold von Ranke. Leopold von Ranke, he was also a German philosopher and laid emphasis on utmost importance given to importance information gathered through original document. Means Leopold von Ranke had given maximum importance to collect the original documents for writing the history of any country. Collection of his articles are published in his two books entitled number 1, The Theory and Practice of History, number 2, The Secret of World History. These are the most important two books of Leopold von Ranke. In order to reach historical truth, it was necessary to examine all documents related to historical event. He criticized the imaginative narration of history. It means whatever at the time of writing history, whatever documents are collected, those must be related to the topic of that history. And he had criticized the imaginative narration of history. Means history does not accept the imagination. History does not like if whatever things had happened, that had happened, nobody can change it. And that's why Leopold von Ranke criticized the imaginative narration of history. So at the time of making any historical movie, the director has to be very much careful that the information which he is going to present in that movie, that must be real and authentic. He cannot give the false information or imaginative information in that movie. Ranke had great influence on historiography of 19th century. Means Ranke was one of the important scholar in the 19th century. Like, next slide please. Now we have to discuss about this Karl Marx. Karl Marx was a German thinker in the 19th century. The role of Karl Marx is very much important for bringing together the workers in the nation. He was a very straightforward person. He had guided to the people of the world, especially the workers. He told that workers are the most important part of the society. What, whatever things are produced here and there, those are due to the hard work of the workers. And that's why, yeah, we were discussing about Karl Marx. Karl Marx was a German thinker in the 19th century, and his role was very much important in the world history because he had guided to the workers of the workers in the world to come together to fight against the rich people who were doing the exploitation of these people. Industrialists were the people who were doing the exploitation of workers, and he told that whatever industrialists are becoming more and more richer due to the hard work of the workers, but industrialists have been continuously exploiting to these workers, and that's why the work of or the guidelines of Karl Marx are very much important to bring together to the world workers. And after his guidelines, much more workers union had established all over the world. He had written a world famous book whose name is Das Kapital. See the spelling, Kapital, not Ca. Okay? He wrote the world famous book whose name is Das Kapital. According to Karl Marx, unequal accessibility of means of production to different classes of society lead to struggle. The history of the world is related to the struggle of the people, and the people has to struggle because the unequal accessibility of the means of production. It means there are some group of society who are having more than enough money, more than enough economic resources, and much more people are in the society who are having very less money for their survival, and that's why they have to continuous struggle. His theory of class struggle is considered very important all over the world. His theory, what is the name of his theory? Class struggle. Means the worker class people has to struggle continuously for their existence, and that's why he had asked them to come together to fight against the industrialist. According to him, human history is the history of class struggle because the class which own the means of production economically exploits the rest of the classes. He told that human history is the history of class struggle because the people who are having the control on the productions, they are doing the exploitations of the rest of the classes, means workers. He told that history was not about abstract ideas but about living people. His views are really great. History was not about abstract ideas. Abstract means the things which cannot be touched or seen. So, history was about the living people. Administration based on his ideas was first established in Russia. You can understand the talent of this Karl Marx, and Russia had accepted the principles of Karl Marx in their own country. Let's go. This is also very important point. Annals School. At the dawn of the 20th century, the writing of history got a new direction. Along with political events, kings, great leaders, the climate, local people, agriculture, trade, technology, means of communication, social divisions, and psychology of a group was also considered important in the study of history. It means when the students of Annals school had started to write the history, they had made enlarge the scope of history by adding various subjects in writing history. This new school of thoughts is known as Annals School. Annals means year by year record of any event. It means this school had kept the record of history year by year, and that's why the name was given Annals School. Any event should be studied in the light of not only the political system in those times but also of prevalent social and economic system. Annual school was started by French historians. This is an important point. Let's move on the next slide. Feminist historiography. You know the meaning of feminist. Feminist. This word is derived from femin, masculine gender and feminine gender. Means feminist historiography means the history in which the importance is given about the problems and the talent of the woman. Here, feminist historiography means writing history with woman perspective. Means at the time of writing history, the importance was given to understand the problem of woman. Next point, there was a lot of dominance of male perspective of historical writing. Simone de Beauvoir, a French scholar, insisted on rethinking on the male dominated perspective and inclusion of women perspective in historiography. It means the role of Simone de Beauvoir is very much important in writing the feminist historiography, because she described that the history was also written by the male and it was the male dominated history, and that's why she thought to write the feminist historiography where the importance will be given to the feelings of women. Next point, the idea of feminist historiography was accepted by the world and it was supported by much more scholars in the world. Because of her efforts, various aspects of women's life, like their employment problems, their role in the trade unions, and their family life, became part of historiography. Before the feminist historiography, there were no any importance to the feelings of women. Now the next important European historian was Michel Foucault. See the spelling Michel, not Michael. Michel Foucault was a 20th century historian and he was belonged to the France nation. He wrote the book Archaeology of Knowledge. In this book, he insisted that the prevailing practice of arranging historical events in a chronological order is not right. See, Michael Foucault explained that the arranging historical events in a chronological order, it cannot be sufficient to write the history, because when we think about the history of the specific time and place, at that time in other part of the same nation, various important incidents can be taken, and that's why each and every time the chronological order cannot be played, cannot be accepted. Point number 3, he gave importance to transitions that people that took place in history. Means Michel Foucault thought that whatever information one scholar is having, that should be informed to the other scholar, and that should be discussed with the help of each other, and later on they can come on the conclusion. For number 4, he acknowledged the subjects such as science of medicine, psychological disorders, prison administration, which were not acknowledged by earlier historians. See, the work of Michel Foucault is very much because he contributed the new subject in the history such as a science of medicine, psychological disorders, and prison administration. Whatever information, whatever events he was well known, that should be included into the history. That was his demand, and that's why the new subjects were also included in the writing history. Next question is, why is Voltaire said to be the founder of modern historiography? This is a very important question. According to Voltaire, it was important to consider the following aspects while writing history. Means at the time of writing, the following aspects are very much important. Number 1, objective truth and chronology of event. Means whatever information is truth, it should be written in a chronological order. Number 2, prevalent social traditions. Each and every society are having their own customs and traditions. Those prevalent means very important social traditions should be written at the time of writing history. Then agriculture, trade and economic system, these all are the base of any society, and that's why those should be included in the subject history while writing. It was because of his view that all aspects of human life was considered for history writing. Therefore, he is said to be the founder of modern historiography. So, you must be well known that Voltaire is to be the founder of modern historiography. Let's move on the next question. What are the objectives of writing history? This is a very important question. What are the objectives of the writing history? History is researched and written down with following objectives. Number 1, to analyze the events in the past. It means whatever incidents or events had happened in the past, those should be analyzed, those should be classified, those should be explained by discussion. Number 2, to verify information about the historical events and their interconnections, because history is depending on each other. For the creation of one thing, for the creation of one incident, the second one is also responsible. Point number 3, to study in detail and remove imaginative element and bring forth the truth. Means in history there is no any scope to the imaginative element, but The historian has to bring forth the truth, means whatever truth is there, that should be brought out by the historian. Fourth point, to put the past events in chronological order. Okay, because with the help of chronological order, we can easily understand the history of any nation. If we want to study of the modern history of India, then we have to start it from in the year 1600. The East India Company was established in India. In 1664, East India Company had come in India. In 1707, Britishers had established their first factory at Surat. In 1757, Britishers had done their first battle with the Indian ruler Siraj-ud-Daulah, and its name was the Battle of Plassey, 1757. Later on, the Battle of Buxa, which had taken place in 1764. Okay, in such way, we can easily remember the history of any country with the help of chronological order. This is the end of chapter number 1. I hope you understood this chapter, and you can learn this question and answers. I made this PPT to avoid the confusion while studying the information in history textbook. So I have given you this PPT in the form of question answer. No matter, you can write or you can save it with you. And if you like my teaching, then you can subscribe my channel. My channel name is MPSC Sir. Okay, children, bye. Have a nice day.